Hi everyone, how's it going? So Mars and Venus are going to be forming an exact conjunction in Aquarius on the 20th of February. For us in the UK, it's happening at 17:06 GMT. So of course, apply your own time zones as appropriate. But this is essentially all about the balance of the masculine essence and the feminine essence coming together. And first and foremost, we need to consider ourselves, because regardless of gender or how we identify, we have the masculine and feminine essence within us. We have the nurturing qualities, the creator qualities of the feminine, and of course, needing to be open to receive as well as give that love. And then with the masculine essence, that's about the courage and the drive within us to take action towards what we want. Of course, perfect harmony is that they're balanced. So this exact conjunction is happening in Aquarius. So of course we know we're currently in Aquarius season at the time of me recording this, but when this conjunction happens, we're going to be in Pisces season. So I'll come on to that in a moment. But Mars and Venus will be in Aquarius. So that feeling of liberation and freedom that this balance can actually bring, we want to feel that. We want to feel free to be ourselves, our authentic, unique expression of self as well. So this balancing is helping us with this. But not only that, because our external reality is, of course, reflecting back to us our internal condition. If we're feeling balanced within the masculine and feminine, we're going to receive that back in our external reality. So therefore, we're receiving balanced situations and experiences, of course, harmonious for us. We are navigating a 3D reality, so it's not always as straightforward as that, as we know, but this is all about this energy coming together in this harmony, in this balance, in this union. And I say union because, of course, when we look at the masculine and feminine, and again, don't get caught up on genders, okay, this is about identifying with that essence within ourselves. There may be feminines watching who identify more as a masculine at the core essence because they're more driven and they're more able to take action compared to other people. And there might be masculines watching that identify more with the feminine side because they're very nurturing and very empathic in that way. Okay, so take it as it resonates, if it resonates at all. But essentially, this is about unions coming together as well. And Mars and Venus, of course, are depicting that with the masculine and feminine coming together. I should point out also, this conjunction is happening at 5 degrees. So 5-5, that's a master number associated with change, profound change. This is the sign of the times at the moment. We are in a period of profound change, but this is about change and the impact of this balance between the masculine and feminine, or union between the masculine and feminine, and how that can actually make an impact to create change. Okay. So I will be talking about supportive partnerships because there's also things going on with Juno in the chart. So it's very much layered. There is a bigger picture to this, as always. So let's jump into the chart, okay? And I'll show you what I am talking about. We've got the beautiful sun rays coming through today. So let's embrace that light energy also. Okay. Here we go. All right. So as always, I pull up the chart, which is the transits of this particular event. It's like a freeze frame of the cosmos at the time of this happening. So the exact conjunction, bearing in mind that leading up to this point, they're getting closer to each other. So they're still forming a conjunction of sorts, but I'm talking about an exact conjunction, okay, same degrees. And that happens when Venus moves into Aquarius. So this is happening at 17:06 GMT on the 20th of February, okay? And at that point, as I mentioned, we will be in Pisces season. Yay, let's go Pisces season. I'm a Pisces, if you didn't already know that, so I'm extremely excited. This is my season, and it is magical, it's mystical, and to be honest with you, I feel that it is a sign for all of us that we can really embody that Piscean energy and dream our dreams into reality. I have done a Sun in Pisces reading as well. That will be available on my YouTube channel also. But this I'm focusing on, of course, just the Venus and Mars conjunction and what's going on around that. So here we have lots of colourful lines going on, which I will go into. But you can see here we have, with this yellow arrow, Venus and Mars. So Venus has been kind of on the tail of Mars, and she enters Aquarius at 5 degrees, and then they form that conjunction at 5 degrees Aquarius. Okay, they're together for a few degrees on, so that conjunction is kind of lasting. So that heightening of the masculine and feminine essence coming together is quite profound. Now, you'll also notice, because I'm very much drawn to numbers, not all the time, but when I am, it feels like there's a specific reason. And of course, the 5-5 I've mentioned, profound change. But Mars at this point, when Venus enters Aquarius, Mars will actually be at 44 minutes, okay? And 44 is also a master number, and it is ascended masters. So it's very divine. This is very divine, this moment, okay? And you could even consider this relates to divine unions, if this resonates for you, okay? That's what I'm feeling with regards to all of this. And let's not forget, Aquarius, yes, it's about freedom and liberation. It can also be rebellious energy for that reason, but it's also about connecting with others, because Aquarius rules the 11th house. So there is something to be said about connections here, okay? Masculine and feminine connections, and really how that's going to enable that freedom and liberation within each individual involved in that connection, if that makes sense. Okay, it's like the power of the balance, the power of the connection, the power of the union then enables that liberation and change to take forth. Okay, so here we have, with regards to Aquarius, of course, we've also got Pluto there, which we know about, and we've got Mercury there. So Mercury is getting to the final degrees, but still in Aquarius at that point. So our expression, we're feeling like we want to feel free enough to express ourselves for who we are, okay? And maybe that's what's enabled these unions to come into play, not only because of the astrological energy that's supporting it, but because we're feeling more free, because we are transforming and we're going through this journey of transformation, and we're feeling more liberated to speak up, to speak our truth in that way, okay? So there's many things going on, many things going on. And I will come on to Pars Fortuna, the Pot of Fortune, and Vertex, because they're both showing up in a pivotal point at this moment. And remember, this is a freeze frame of the cosmos at the time of the conjunction. So of course, there's going to be movement after, but this is why it's quite impactful to look at the energy of those two coming together and what's going on at that time, okay? But first of all, let's have a look at this purple line, if you can see it. So from Mars and Venus in Aquarius, there is a sextile, which is a harmonious aspect in astrology, to Pallas Athena. So that is the asteroid Pallas, okay? And very much associated with that Athena type energy, but also Aphrodite. And Pallas is in Sagittarius, okay? So we might have been discovering, because this asteroid represents love and beauty, we've been discovering and learning about love and beauty, and predominantly the love and beauty we hold within ourselves for ourselves, okay, because of what's been going on in the astrology up to this point. This sextile now is showing that love and beauty that we have been discovering about ourselves is enabling us to come into balance. So the masculine and feminine. Okay, we've understood, and it's more on the feminine side because it is a feminine asteroid, and also that's where the nurturing love energy comes from. Okay, so it's really enhanced that, and we've had to nurture ourselves through this journey of transformation for quite a time, but it has picked up pace, certainly in the last few months. Absolutely, okay, the last few years, but the last few months. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. You're going to have felt that in the energy. So this is all about, yes, what we've discovered and learned about that love and beauty we can show to ourselves first and foremost, and to other people from an unconditional perspective, and how that's enabled this balance to come together. So that's really working in harmony, because when we feel that within, we can emit that and we can experience that from other people as well, that reciprocal energy in that way, okay, thus adding to the balance and the harmony between the masculine and the feminine. When we realize how much we can love ourselves and the beauty that we hold within ourselves, we can then take action because we feel aligned, we feel worthy of it, and so on, okay. So that's the sextile there, but there is a square that is the red line that's going up to Jupiter in Taurus. So when it comes to our worth and values, that Taurus energy, okay, we've had to really go through this in terms of this healing, because we need to understand we are worthy of divine love, divine joy, divine abundance, divine opportunities, divine blessings. And that has been challenging because we've had to address shadow aspects coming up as well. And a square in astrology can just indicate a bit of challenging energy. So yes, it might have been challenging to get to this point of understanding our worth and values, but the square with Mars and Venus, so the masculine and feminine energy, and particularly if you think of union or connection or something like that, it's almost this feeling of, is luck really on our side here? Are we worthy of this? Are we worthy of this balance and harmony that we can experience together? Okay. If it's just resonating for ourselves, okay, the masculine and feminine within us, do we feel lucky enough that we can be in harmony within ourselves? Well, of course, that's what we're striving for, but we need to feel worthy of it. We need to hold those values tight within us. But in an external situation, in a supportive partnership, in a union, in a connection, okay, which could be a friendship, it could be a work partnership, it could be a family connection, whatever that supportive partnership might be, okay, this is about holding value in it. Is there enough value in it? Can we see the value in it? And is luck really on our side with this? Is it too good to be true? That kind of aspect. And I'll come on to the dreaminess because I'll focus on what's going on with Neptune. But there is something to be said about expansion with Jupiter. So caution here, because there's a square and Jupiter can expand the negative as well as the positive. So there needs to be this feeling of confidence really in this balance, because the balance is happening. Mars and Venus coming together, exact conjunction. It might just feel like there's limited expansion, but that's because of the sort of constraints that maybe we've put on ourselves, you know, our own kind of doing in that respect. So because maybe we've not felt worthy enough of this in the past, then perhaps we've kind of put that shield up. And now when it comes to expansion and feeling worthy of this balance between the masculine and feminine, maybe it just feels challenging, and it can create that sort of challenging energy because we need to actually let the guard down now. Okay, the balance is coming into play. It's divinely guided, and it's going to enable profound change. That can maybe feel uncomfortable, but this is about expanding the good. So let's not expand the negative. Let's expand the good. Okay. And there is a trine. Jupiter is in trine, so that's a positive aspect in astrology, to Juno. So of course, supportive partnerships, and there's more going on with Juno, which I'll come on to. But that expansion that a supportive partnership can offer is profound. Okay. But there needs to be that belief of being worthy enough of it, and understanding that trying to keep the masculine and feminine within us in balance as well. To, you know, if we identify as the feminine essence, for example, then needing to be open to receive the expansion that a supportive partnership can offer us. And if we identify with the masculine essence, it's letting the guard down a bit to allow a supportive partnership to expand and nurture us. Okay, so it's taking the qualities of the masculine and feminine and saying, okay, from the opposite perspective, there needs to be this allowance of that other energy to expand us in a positive way, because it's a trine, but getting over those challenges. Yeah, because we want to feel free and we want to feel liberated to be ourselves, but we might have had to address certain aspects that's been causing that shield or causing fear, and so on. Okay, but there's great positive energy going on, and you know, Juno particularly, you know, if I'm going to stay on Juno there, we've got another trine. So there's quite a few green lines you can see here, but Juno is also in trine to Uranus. So Juno here in Virgo, also going up to Uranus, and that trine connects to the vertex point and Pars Fortuna. Okay, so it's actually Pars Fortuna, but I'm saying vertex because vertex is right there. So that links back to Juno. That's the complete triangle if you like, okay? Earth triangle. And this is about the change, okay, with Uranus, this is about change and liberation and freedom also, because Uranus rules Aquarius. So we want to experience change. And this is a very fated and destined time for this change to be happening through supportive partnerships and commitments. So soul contracts, okay? And there is, I mean, I've not highlighted any squares or sesqui squares or anything like that with Juno, okay? I've focused on the trines because I was drawn to those, and I'm very much drawn to what I'm guided to show you for these reports, okay? And this is about allowing supportive partnerships to offer this change for us, because it is fated, there's fortune in this. And when I say fortune, I'm not just talking about money, because that word is often just associated with that. No, fortune can be anything. Fortune can be abundance in the form of love, joy, further experiences, opportunities opening up for us. It's a very fated and destined time for fortune in this way, through supportive partnerships that are going to enable this change. And it's linked to Mars and Venus because of the conjunction and the 5-5 that I'm drawn to, okay, profound change. But there needs to be that allowance of it to allow the masculine within us to be nurtured, okay, because we can also be very kind of, I'm independent, I'm focused, I want to do what I want to do, and that's great. But we need to maybe allow ourselves to be open to the nurturing. And then, you know, the feminine, I'm so used to caring and loving others. I haven't really given much focus to myself. So being open to receive that from another person can feel quite daunting. So it's allowance on both sides, okay? Recognizing the essence within us and where we might need to kind of compromise in a way. That's the word that's coming through. So we've got this beautiful trine that is enabling this, and it's very fortuitous, and the vertex point, which is also a fated and destined moment for this to be happening, okay? And I mentioned before about maybe it feeling too good to be true. So we've got Neptune up here in Pisces, of course, at home in Pisces, and we've got the moon in Cancer, at home in Cancer. So both of these are in benefic positions. It's water energy. It's very empathic energy because it's Pisces and Cancer. It's very loving. Okay, it can be sensitive, but it's very loving. And this is a trine that I'm focusing on. So I'm not going to look at the shadow aspects. This is a trine. So it's the ethereal essence and the nurturing essence that comes from these two signs and how they're working together. So the dreaminess, this could feel the moon. That's our emotions. It can feel dreamy and maybe almost like a fantasy, because Neptune is the dreamer. Okay, it's magical, it's mystical. So there could be a supportive partnership that could be very dreamy. And it can feel very dreamy. It can feel almost like this is too good to be true. This is just so magical. It's unbelievable. And that might be why some of the guards have gone up through the squares that I've just mentioned, okay? And there's other squares that I will mention as well. But this is about, you know, understanding that with the moon in Cancer, so it's at home. Neptune, Pisces, it's at home. There is a feeling here of being at home. So if this is a supportive partnership with somebody else, this is a partnership that feels like home. Okay, on a soul level, this feels like home. And look at the sun that's just come out now as I say that. Okay, so the sun is a massive expansive force in the cosmos, and the sun is also confirming that. So, you know, the sun's in Pisces at this point. Let's get magical, let's get dreamy. Why not? Why should we be restricting ourselves to how we've been told things should be when we've got dreams and aspirations for ourselves and we are worthy of this? And maybe we're just recognizing this now, you know, and certainly since Pluto moved into Aquarius and we know things need to change in our realities, maybe we are realizing and understanding that we can have dreams. Why shouldn't we have dreams? You know, but when it comes to connections, maybe because of previous connections, and again, they can be friendships, you know, it doesn't have to be romantic necessarily, but connections where there is love at the base of it. It might have not gone so well in the past. So this might feel like, wow, this is too good to be true, because this is actually, I'm feeling good about this. I'm feeling at home in this situation. So this is great. And this is what's going to allow that expansion, as I was saying, with the Jupiter energy, with Juno. Okay. And let's cover the fantasy element. This is very much about, you know, if there was a square here or something like that, then yes, there's this kind of message of caution to say, don't get too ahead of yourself. Okay, we can have that at the back of our mind anyway. Let's not get too swept up with it. But no, this is about feeling the great feelings that this magical partnership could bring. And if it's not a partnership, it's the harmony within ourselves, well, that's going to feel like magic to us, because we are coming into balance within ourselves. So that should feel good as well. Okay. But Juno is in Virgo. Okay. And that other trine with Uranus and Pars Fortuna, they're all in earth signs. So it might feel like a fantasy, but actually this is real. This is reality. It's earth energy. Okay. And it's something that we can dream into our reality as well. So I'm going to go a bit deep here. But this may be a union that's happening and maybe has been coming together in the 5D for quite a while. And now it's only just starting to come to fruition in the 3D. Some of you will understand that. So this is about the ethereal, the 5D, fifth dimension. Okay, we're connected on soul level with a lot of people in the 5D, and we might not have even met them yet in the 3D reality. Okay, so this is about understanding that this energy is here, and you may be watching it thinking, well, that's not right because there's no union in my life. Well, that's looking at it from a negative perspective, and I've been guilty of that myself in the past. So I understand, I can empathize with this fully. But when we appreciate what's going on a 5D level, on a soul level, then we can understand how this energy, because this is all energy, is coming together to support these partnerships, to support these unions. Okay. But the 3D reality, we've got free will at play. And choices that we make can then alter the course of situations. Okay, this is the potentiality of the energy. And it's very significant, very significant. So even if it just relates to the balance that's going on within us, that's also amazing, because we're wanting that balance within us. But I do feel strongly that this is bringing together supportive partnerships, because I've been seeing this in the astrology for quite a while. I've been mentioning it in my reports. And now with Mars and Venus coming together, it does feel like this is happening. But there's still squares. So there's still challenges. Okay. And those challenges can be big, they can be small. It's going to be different for different people. Okay. So I just thought I would just mention that. But we can dream this into reality if we believe we're worthy enough of it. Okay. If we can feel it on that soul level, on that ethereal level. And let's not forget, we're in Pisces season. It's a very ethereal season. Yeah. It's connected with that ethereal realm. Pisces rules the 12th house. Okay. So let's go back to this. There is a square that's going from the moon across to the North Node and Chiron. So the challenge with this, in terms of feeling good and feeling the dreaminess, is that maybe we've had to heal quite a lot. It's to do with our sovereignty. So feeling dreaminess, so that feels great, but almost like it's too good to be true, because I'm still healing my sovereignty. And am I really that sovereign being who can command this sort of love into my life? you know, healing those wounds around sovereignty, and also healing those wounds around doing everything by ourselves. We need to, as a sovereign being, but again, it's about allowing that supportive partnership to come in when it needs to in that respect. The square, because it forms an exact square here with quite a few things, that's also going down, okay, to Pars Fortuna, across to the south node in Libra, and then back up to the moon. So this relates to, yes, our purpose, where we're heading, where we're coming from the south node, and the fortune associated with this and how this feels. So we might be questioning this because of still needing to heal some aspects around our sovereignty and also past life. Okay, if there is a supportive partnership that has past life elements to it, these aspects may be being healed at the same time. So it can feel like it's challenging our fortune when it comes to experiencing this and the dreaminess of it, because we're having to heal the nitty-gritty of it. But that's for the highest good. That's to cleanse the karma from the past life, so that in this lifetime, maybe the soul contract is going to deliver something a lot more better and more significant in terms of the mission, in terms of the purpose. Okay, so that's how that feels with that square. And there is also another trine and a sextile. So let's have a look. Oh, I've already covered the trine. Sorry, apologies. That's the one from the moon to Neptune. I've covered that one. The sextile from the moon is also going to, yes, you've guessed it, Juno. So it's very much about these supportive partnerships and trusting in how they feel in a good way, because that's how supportive partnerships are meant to make you feel good, empowered, and safe and comfortable, in order to then do what we need to do, because we have somebody there that can support us through that. And it works both ways, okay, with that reciprocal energy. So let's not forget that square. So with the south node, we need to make sure, okay, south node Libra, we're laying a fair foundation here, balanced, okay? But Mars and Venus balanced with this conjunction, heightening the energy, which can be quite overwhelming, okay? That's another reason why it could be challenging the expansion, because it's overwhelming. We need to also ensure that any karma that's being cleansed as part of that is then allowing for a fair foundation to be built, so it can truly be supportive, because it's on both sides. Okay. There's also, with the blue lines I've just highlighted here, there are some quincunxes going on, okay, and Juno is also in the mix here. So this is as if to say it's an in conjunction, so not a conjunction like we have with Mars and Venus, but we have Juno that is in conjunct, if you like, to the North Node and Chiron. So that's what I was saying about, okay, it might challenge our healing journey and where we're heading, because maybe we're needing to understand that there is somebody who can support us on our journey, and we need to kind of allow that other person to be there on our journey, because we've been very focused on our sovereignty, and that's great because we are the leaders of our own life. But this is about now, perhaps at this particular moment, because of the Mars-Venus conjunction and balance is being brought together, that it's a divinely guided moment for this supportive partnership to come together to then carry on the journey. It just might feel like it's not a burden, but it might feel, because it's so overwhelming, it's almost like, well, I can carry on, I can do it myself. And that's where the guard goes up. Okay, so it's almost we're needing to allow ourselves to allow the supportive partnership. Okay, and even, I'll go back to this, even if this is just focusing within ourselves, the supportive partnership between Mars and Venus, we need to understand that we've got to nurture ourselves through situations as well as taking action to get things done. So we've got to allow that balance. Yeah. The other one is Lilith with Pluto. So it can feel like there is this disparity. I guess that's what it kind of conjures up, really. So the shadow work of Lilith, what she's been presenting to us as a great teacher of the shadows, this is saying there's a bit of a disparity here between the shadow work and the deep transformation, which just seems like a contradiction, because of course shadow work is going to enable transformation, but it feels here that maybe we need to just separate ourselves from this, to not focus on how it's going to transform and how we're going to transform in this situation, but focus on the shadow work and allow the transformation, because it is going to serve that purpose ultimately. But we might be focused too much on how are things going to transform rather than actually dealing with the shadow work that's in front of us. And in a similar way, you know, with the North Node and Chiron, we're heading towards our purpose, and we're on the healing journey. So we might need to just have that separation in our mind of, okay, I'm driven to do this, I'm healing what I need to, but I do also need to allow supportive partnership in, okay, in that way, because they can help me, they can guide me, but ultimately kind of keeping the two at a distance, if you like. And I know that sounds like a contradiction, but as we do heal and we're moving in the direction of our purpose, that supportive partnership is going to naturally evolve and become what it is, just like the deep transformation of Pluto. Okay, the liberation that's going to bring is a profound transformation, is as a result of the shadow work, because we're addressing the shadow work and we're evolving as a result. Hope that makes sense. So there we go. That's the chart. I'm going to just now pull up the chart with the UK. Okay, so you can see, it gives you a context to the houses. Okay, so what I've just shown you, and appreciate that the circle in the middle is a smaller circle, so it looks a bit more messy, but I've essentially put the same aspects on here. Okay, and it's the UK's natal chart in the middle, and then the transits of the event on the outer wheel. Okay, so freeze frame of the cosmos like before, and just to give you that context on the house system, which would be the same that can be done with your natal chart. Okay, so Mars and Venus, this exact conjunction for the UK is happening in the 7th house, and that's also where Pluto is. So this profound change that could come from the balance between the masculine and feminine, potential unions, and this connection, supportive partnerships, is happening in the house of relationships with people, places, things. And Pluto's there. So this is deeply transforming our reality. Okay. Pallas is down in the 5th house of love. So yeah, love and beauty, love in the house of love. So this is very much about how, when we hold that love for ourselves and we open up our heart chakra to allow that love to also come in, it's going to support that balance of the masculine and feminine. Okay, in that way. And the moon is in the 12th house. So, you know, this is quite interesting because the 12th house is the subconscious house, it's the house of Pisces. But it could be saying here that some of these feelings that we're feeling are actually hidden. They're actually hidden feelings. So this might be a bit of a kind of revelation within ourselves about how we feel about this supportive partnership, this connection, or simply the balance between the masculine and feminine, how that makes us feel. The trine with Neptune being in the 9th house, so discovery. Yeah, we're learning about this. We're actually discovering how we feel about this. Okay. And the moon is sextile to Juno. Juno's in the 3rd house of expression. So very much about expression of this love and commitment in a supportive partnership, and how that is going to make us feel that way, how that's going to actually help our emotions, because it's a sextile, it's harmonious. Okay, I haven't drawn the full square on that I showed you because it would have looked too messy. Okay, but I have put the lines on the outside, so I'll come on to that in a moment. But the trine with Juno, so we know Juno's in the 3rd house, and we've got Uranus and Jupiter. Now Uranus is in the 11th house of connections with others, and Jupiter is in the 10th house of inner authority. So the supportive partnerships that can enable that expansion within our inner authority, so becoming more empowered. And yes, there is that square, so relationships with people, places, things. Where might that feel challenging to be able to bring this supportive partnership or the balance within to fruition in that way? But our expression within this balance, union, connection, supportive partnership is what is expanding our inner authority, and it's enabling change, freedom and liberation within our connections with other people. It's also a fortuitous time. Pars Fortuna is in the 6th house. So this is making an impact to our daily routines and schedules, and also where we're of service to others, because perhaps it's enabling change so we can be more of service to others in that way. Okay, but ultimately the 6th house is also the house of well-being. So this is feeling good. Again, Moon trine to Neptune, so we're feeling it. We are feeling the healing side of it as well, which is where the challenge comes in, but we're feeling like this dreaminess, the dreamy feels to this, and that's making us feel good. Okay, within our 6th house, that could be where the fortune is, because we're feeling good about ourselves in this. It's bringing out the best in us. Okay, and it's a very fated moment to do this within our daily lives. Okay, so change could be happening here within our daily lives. This is how it could be transforming us going forward. Okay, and of course we know about the quincunxes and needing to kind of have whatever's going on with Lilith in the 2nd house, which is to do with worth and values, you know, shadow work, and how that is going to enable transformation within our relationships with people, places, things, but not focusing on that, not focusing on how a relationship with someone's going to change, or not focusing on how a relationship with a place is going to change. It's more focusing about the shadow work to do with our worth and values, and to not be so critical on ourselves or have too much control over the outcome when it comes to that as well. Okay, so that's what I would say to that. There you go. Now, I've got some cards here, so I'm just going to take some additional messages, and of course I will timestamp this because there may be some people that just want to go straight to the cards. So let's have a look. First and foremost, let's go with the wisdom of the oracle, okay, and see if there's any oracle messages for the Mars-Venus conjunction. It's happening on the 20th of February. Anything for the collective, please, for the Mars and Venus conjunction? What do we have? Of course, messages from the pure white light. That's very interesting. Okay, thank you. One more. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so on the bottom we've got regeneration in reverse. So yeah, we need to sort of allow this rebirth to take place. There could just be fears around it. There could really be some fears around it, and that might be the shadow work that's needed, that's going to enable the transformation without us focusing on the transformation. All of these came out in reverse, but I'll show them you in the upright. Okay, so we've got clean it up first of all, and that always makes me think of Virgo, because Virgo is the cleaner, the hoover of the zodiac. So this is about, yeah, cleaning things up, getting things in order. And there could be a reluctance to that. There could be a reluctance to face what's going on here, okay, especially if it is bringing together a supportive partnership in the 3D reality, because maybe it's sort of, it does require that cleansing of karma. So the clean it up, it does require us to clean some things up first, and that might feel uncomfortable. So there could be some resistance to that. Community was also in reverse. Okay, so this is about knowing who your tribe is and who your tribe isn't. Okay, that's what I would say. Remember, I was saying in the astrology about the moon in Cancer at home, Neptune in Pisces at home, feeling at home. Okay, so with whom do you feel at home? And with whom do you feel not at home? Okay, so understanding that, but also because there is a giraffe there, it almost feels like having that higher perspective as well. But not only that, look at the giraffe that's actually bending down to kiss the baby giraffe. So that's kind of like meeting the baby giraffe where the baby giraffe is. So that might relate to what's coming through with me now, is that lowering of that guard to kind of meet somebody halfway. That's what it feels like. Okay. And then flexible. So yes, the need to be flexible and to be open to change, to be open to receive change, to not try and control it too much. That's what that feels like to me. Okay. Now let's see what the tarot have. I've got the beautiful Light Seers Tarot. I've got the light shining through. So let's have a look and see what we have from the Light Seers Tarot, please. This is for the Mars and Venus conjunction. Mars and Venus conjunction. Thank you. What do we need to know, please? Yeah, letting the guard down because perhaps we've been focusing too much on loss of the past. But notice here, she's got her foot in one of the bowls, so she's almost sabotaging her own opportunity. We don't want to be doing that. Yeah, because of not feeling free to be our true authentic self, to express ourselves, and maybe not feeling happy. Okay, because the Sun is the happiest card in the deck and it's in reverse. Okay. All right, let's get some advice then, please, from the Light Seers Tarot. Knight of Swords. Well, that's quick movement and it could be a message. So you might need to express something to somebody. I'll tell you what's coming through to me now based on that one. Okay. Okay, yeah, because victory on the bottom, and that's hidden energy. So we may not realize that victory is just around the corner because it's in the hidden energy. And underneath that, Knight of Wands. Okay, that's moving to the beat of your own drum because of what I feel intuitively with the card. But also we've got 4 wands here, and this is the Knight of Wands. So it's not the 4 of Wands, but I see 4 wands. So union, but also Knight of Wands. It could be a fire sign, doesn't have to be. But this is about movement towards passion, creativity, something that's really going to spark something within you. Okay. But there's victory, you see, that's coming before that, and being seen in a situation. This is about being seen in a situation. Now, those 2 came out. So I knew when I saw that one, because that's about certainly what I'm drawn to with this particular deck, is that's leaving something in the past. Okay, that's movement. So we want to move away from the past where we felt like we need to guard our heart. Okay, and certainly the stability of our heart, because that's Pentacles. Okay, clarity is going to come forth, maybe even a message, but this is about the crown chakra ultimately. Okay, so it's reflection on, okay, where have I come from? I need to leave that behind. I need to move away, and I need to sort of do it quickly. Okay, not too hastily, but I need to actually move towards something else. Have gratitude for the past, but allow myself to move forward and receive that clarity. And notice they've both got their eyes closed. So this is that inner knowing of what that might be. And if it's about opening up the heart space, maybe you're going to receive a message, or maybe you're going to receive some clarity, okay, in relation to this. But this could also be a message coming to you, because we've got those 2 on either side, that's going to enable you to move away from the pain of the past. Or it could simply be saying you've got to move on from that situation, okay, and maybe even communicate and express yourself to someone else. You might be waiting for the clarity in order to do that, okay, but ultimately there's victory here in a situation. Okay, and it's going to move you out of this unhappiness, self-sabotage, guarded feeling. Okay, beautiful. I've also got 2 other decks here that I'm just going to pull a card for the Divine Feminine. So again, however you relate the feminine and masculine energy. Okay, Spirit Song Tarot. Let's see what message we have for the feminine because of the Venus and Mars conjunction. Okay, let's look at the feminine first of all. Divine Feminines, what do they need to know, please, for their highest good? Thank you. Advice. Advice for the feminines, please. Advice. Thank you. And hidden energy. Right. I mean, this is an absolutely beautiful deck, okay? So we have got Ace of Acorns and Six of Crystals, both in reverse. So that's Ace of Wands and Six of Pentacles in reverse. So this is about, again, it's kind of that moving away feeling from what we've just seen, but needing to restore balance, because the Six of Pentacles is about balance and reciprocity. So in reverse, there is a situation that is very out of balance and maybe not very fulfilling in that way. Okay, Ace of Wands in reverse. So not very fulfilling, can't really spark anything from it. That's the situation. So the advice is Five of Crystals in reverse, Five of Pentacles in reverse. So that's understanding that situations in the past have happened for us and not to us. So it's removing ourselves from that victim mentality and appreciating it for an experience that's helped us to gain wisdom, etc. Okay, so it's movement away from that and towards new possibilities, because it does say that on the card. And in the hidden energy is Nine of Feathers in reverse. That's great, because that's Nine of Swords in reverse. So there is that coming out of stress, overthinking, okay, and needing to release. You know, certainly it says on the card perspective and self-empowerment. So this is about you gaining that from those experiences to move forward. Okay, that's part of the healing that the feminine is having to do or has done in order to move forward and then allow the heart chakra to be open to receive from the masculine. Okay. Because underneath that one was the Four of Pentacles. So yes, there is that control, security, it says on there. We saw the Four of Pentacles in that other deck, which I'll just find there, which is more of a guarded feeling. But in this particular deck, look at that, there is more of a flow. Okay, and there's no guardedness there. All right, so let's have a look at the masculine, Gilded Tarot Royale. Okay, what do we have for the divine masculine with the Venus and Mars conjunction? What message do we have for the masculines, please? What message do we have for the masculines, please? That one and that one. Oh, advice, please. I think there was pretty much advice in that, but they want to speak to the masculine, that's for sure. Okay. And the hidden energy. Wow, 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 wow. Okay. Oosh, masculines, look at that. Ten of Swords and the Death card. This is major cycle closeout, major. And that Ten of Swords, okay, this is about a cycle that's closing, but the Death card is a major cycle closing. It's scorpionic energy. That's part of the deep transformation that you're going through. Closing out a massive cycle. And it could be a cycle of fear. It could be a cycle of pain, because the Ten of Swords can be a very painful ending. And that could be pain from the past. It doesn't have to be very present, but it might be something energetically that you've still been holding on to. That's closing out. They're both in the upright position. I felt that when it came out, if you could probably gather. And the advice here is Chariot in reverse. That's Cancer energy. And the Six of Pentacles. So in order to move towards victory, balance is needed, reciprocity is needed. Okay, there's a situation you need to give to in a reciprocal manner, potentially with the feminine. Okay, so it's all about movement to victory comes, and balance as well, by the way. Okay, movement towards victory and balance comes from being balanced and having that within you to be reciprocal in a situation, okay, to give as well as receive. Okay, and that's what the feminine needs to understand, to receive as well as give. So that's where the balance comes in, and what I alluded to in the astrology about needing to understand the other party. and actually the balance that comes in from being reciprocal in that way, to compromise with the energies in that way. That's what it feels like. And maybe, you know, there is a cycle that the masculine's closing out that hasn't been balanced and maybe hasn't been fair, and that's why things have had to close out, because it's just too much. It's major arcana energy as well. There's 2 major arcanas here. In fact, there's 3 in total, which will come on to the other ones. Whereas the feminine hasn't got the major arcana energy, so it feels a bit more intense on the masculine side. Okay. Hidden energy, 4 of Cups, Lovers in reverse. Lovers can signify lovers, but it can also be a choice, and it's in reverse. So there is a choice here, masculines. Okay, and it's in the hidden energy. So you might not understand at the moment. You might feel like you might need to make a choice, but actually, this is about an opportunity of emotional fulfillment being presented to you. Are you going to take it or not? And it's a big choice, because this is major arcana energy. Okay, so are you going to accept this emotional fulfillment? Can you let the pain of the past go and trust? Okay, because ultimately there can be movement towards victory. It's just at the moment there's stagnation because balance is needed. So are you going to accept that cup of emotional fulfillment? This is about a choice. Okay, whereas the feminine, you know, so 6 of Pentacles came up on both sides. Okay, so balance is definitely needed, and that's what Mars and Venus coming together is bringing us. But there's obviously stuff that the feminine needs to focus on, and the masculine closing out a major cycle, and the feminine moving more into that sense of empowerment, but also recognizing that things from the past have happened for a reason. And this is about movement away from things that have been unbalanced and where there's not been a spark, and being open to receive, and the masculine being open to give. Okay, so amazing. Right, well, I'll leave it there. As I say, if you want to check out my astrology report on the sun moving into Pisces, which is happening on the 19th of February, the day before this conjunction between Venus and Mars, then check it out on my YouTube channel. Okay, and we have got a full moon coming up towards the end of the week, and that's a full moon in Virgo, because of course it's in the opposite sign to Pisces, because we'll be in Pisces season. So that's going to be, there's going to be some emphasis around that, certainly in terms of releasing and perhaps potential illumination of aspects. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see what comes through in the astrology on that as well, particularly if there's still aspects going on with the supportive partnerships. But this is about understanding the balance within. We can allow that balance within, but we need to have that reciprocal understanding of the masculine and feminine essences and how they can work together within us and also outside of us in our connections. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So within us, we need to understand that if we identify as a feminine essence, as our core essence, then this is about, okay, we know we're nurturing, we know, you know, we can create and we can give that love, but do we know we can receive that love as well? And allowing somebody who is the more masculine essence to show us that love. And vice versa, if we identify as a masculine essence, as the core essence, and we're so used to giving, we're so used to doing, can we kind of show that love? So from the nurturing aspect of the feminine, can we show that love? Are we able to kind of let our guards down a bit to give as well as to receive from the feminine? And the feminine, can you be open to receive as well as give to the masculine? Okay, because the balance between the two, certainly when we focus within, we can get a lot done because we're nurturing ourselves. We know we're worthy of opportunities and we can go and get them. And that's the balance that comes from within. We can manifest it and we can create it to happen. Okay, but to be open to receive what we're trying to manifest as well. So in connections, it's the same thing. So understanding that there is that reciprocity and balance, you know, that's come through in the cards, is going to lead to victory. That's going to lead to victory. We saw it in the astrology. It's a fortuitous, fated time for this to be happening. pivotal point, you know, on our healing journey. So, you know, we might just be feeling it on an energetic level, but we need to allow it to come to fruition in the reality, which it can do because the earth energy was showing up. We can feel the fantasy of the Neptune in Pisces, trine Moon in Cancer. We can feel the dreamy feels, but we also need to understand we're feeling the healing aspects, and we don't want to allow that to overpower us, to put the guards up. We need to kind of be open and allow it to flow in that way, because of the water energy that's also there, and being in Pisces season as well. Okay, believing in magic in that way, that can actually come to fruition if we desire it to. Okay, so I'll leave it there, and I'm sending you love and blessings, and yeah, just embrace that change that this can bring for you if it's resonating for you. If it's not, fine, park it, leave it, that's it. You know, it's not resonating for you, it's not resonating for you. But if you know inherently within, this is time for you to come together in harmony within yourself and potentially with another person. This is about being open to give and receive, okay? Because fortune can come from this, okay? And positive expansion. Right, sending you love and blessings. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.